Hello, hola, xin chào, namaste, bonjour. I am Natasha Lewis, and I am currently studying instructional leadership. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone who took the time out to view my diversity plan. With the weather being so bipolar, literally, I have been a bit under the weather, so I thought this would be the best way to introduce my plan. Building equity and ensuring equality, brick by brick. Before taking this course, IL552, Diversity Issues for Instructional Leadership, I took IL562, Lead Change Student Learning. And one of the required artifacts was to create a continuous improvement plan. Well, being that I am an educator of 17 plus years who has always subconsciously focused on and implemented diversity in my classroom and the curriculum, I decided to develop a culturally responsive CIP because I truly want to be a successful change agent as a leader. I can honestly say, unfortunately, that before taking the first diversity issues for instructional leadership this class, I had never heard the term equity, not in education. I had also never heard the term equality referred to education, only, in the civil rights movement. But equity and equality are paramount in education, and this is why. mm, mm, mm. As I stated before the video, this is my why. These conversations are being had in California. They are being had in several states in the United States. They are being had in Alabama. But when are we going to take the steps to ensure equity and equality? So before I get into my diversity plan, first I'd like to note that at times you may notice me looking over at my notes and at my laptop to elaborate on some of the points. Also, this is like my third or fourth take, and I noticed when I listened to the recording, in one of the videos, you could not understand what was being said in the embedded YouTube video that I have added to my presentation. If that is a problem, I have in my reference list, I have the information on where you can go look at the videos. So let's start by looking at the demographics and the research that I did in reference to my plan. So, first, I'm going to read my summary. Gadsden City High School, GCHS, is a public high school in Gadsden, Alabama. It was founded in 2006. Before 2006, Gadsden High School consolidated with Emma Sanson High School and Litchfield High School to form GCHS. Now, Gadsden City serves 1,341 ninth through 12th grade students that live in Etowah County, and the school system employs about 93 full time teachers with a ratio of 14 to 1. Now, 68% of the GCHS students are minorities, and 63% of them are economically disadvantaged. A market leader in connecting colleges and schools with schools and families reported that Gaston City students are 39% proficient in reading, which is extremely low and is below the state average. For our students to be successful in adulting after graduation, literacy proficiency must improve. One way to improve literacy is to implement culturally responsive instructional practices. According to Sedita, culturally responsive teaching is a pedagogy that recognizes the importance of meeting students where they are culturally and linguistically. That's exactly what one of the gentlemen said in the video. When culturally competent teachers validate all students, they are more likely to feel valued. Therefore, they are more eager to learn. This continuous improvement plan, this diversity plan, incorporates culturally responsive teaching strategies into the curriculum to affirm all of our students, improve academic achievement, and prepare every student for college and career. The mission of Gadsden City High School is to inspire, motivate, empower, and prepare all of our students through educational opportunities, both secondary and post secondary, and to excel in the competitive and technology driven workforce. Our vision is to develop intellectually conscientious citizens that add value to their families, the community, and the world with pride, service, and skill proficiency. So now let's look at our ACT subject proficiency among the underserved and non-underserved students. The following data represents various analysis of college and career readiness, school climate and culture, and equitable and culturally responsive instructional strategies. The development of this data was collected to better understand the academic growth of Gadsden City High School and the needs of the community. Alabama administered the ACT to high school students. These figures display how well the school as a whole performed in reading, mathematics, and science. For Gadsden City High School, assessment data from 2021 was compared statewide against all other data from this year. Note, the district and the state data may incorporate a combination of data from 2019 and 2021 in some states. So as you can see, Gadsden City High School ranks in the top 10% of public schools in Alabama for diversity. Minority enrollment is 68.1%. And you can see the numbers as they are rationed out. 46% black, 31.9% white, 19.9% Hispanic, 1.3% Asian, and then there's 0.8% of other races. So let's talk about the curriculum. Gadsden City High School ranks in the top 5% of public schools in Alabama for the lowest student teacher ratio. There are 93 teachers that serve 1,341 students. According to the end of the year Alabama Department of Education state report, in the category of academic achievement that is based on ACT scores, white students at GCHS scored a 61.05. The Hispanic Latino student population scored a 30.30. And black students earned a considerably lower score of 21.83 on the academic achievement indicator. The school scored 37.18 overall. On the same 2022 state report card, Gadsden City A college and career readiness school achieved the following academic indicator scores in college and career readiness. White students scored a 68.33, Hispanic or Latino students scored a 63.64, and Black students scored 50.97. Overall, the school earned a 59.89, and these scores are based on the 2022 Federal Accountability Indicator. As I said before, the mission of Gadsden City High School is to ensure that all students are prepared for success. Fortunately, GCHS has one of the lowest teacher student ratios in the state. With 93 teachers and 1,341 students, the ratio is 14 to 1. This will work to our advantage as we strategically schedule students proportionately and diagnostically and intentionally implement culturally responsive instructional strategies in our classrooms to meet the needs of our entire student population. So, let's look at this system-wide diversity plan. We're going to look at the objectives, action steps, and strategies. Here are the objectives. We want to uphold systems of support that create, promote, and sustain a welcoming and inclusive community. We want to ensure linguistic diversity is represented throughout the building and seek ways to reflect representation of world languages. We need to verify that course materials are representative of all students, including materials for centers, stations, labs, classroom, libraries, and the library. We need to ensure classroom and building decorations are inclusive of all students throughout the building or within the community, even the city at large. Here are the action steps that we need to take. We need to curate the curriculum, identify and articulate purposeful ways in which marginalized communities are represented in curriculum, including print, digital media, and other classroom resources. We need to employ authentic and modern technology usage, inspiring digital literacy through an equity lens. We need to ensure assessments reflect the enriched curriculum that has embedded student identities. We need to embrace and encourage a balance of viewpoints and perspectives that leverage asset thinking toward traditionally marginalized students. We need to assess one's stories through multiple vantage points to gain a whole narrative that includes all sides of parties involved. We need to implement and integrate the wide spectrum and fluidity of identities in the curriculum. Ensure text selections reflect students' classroom, community, and family culture. Ensure teachers and students co create content that encourages critical thinking about their cultures and include counter narratives to dominant cultures. We are going to be using a resource tool to assess the curriculum and assessments for biases. Promote robust discussion with the intent of raising consciousness. Consider a broader modality of student assessments such as performance portfolios, essays, multiple choice, state exams, oral examination, community assessments, work experiences, social justice work, action research projects, and recognition beyond academia. We need to increase linguistic and dialect awareness, establish a quarterly evaluation of teachers' best practices, conduct a semi annual review of teachers' personal and professional goals, provide culturally diverse, inclusive practices in the form of professional development, promote parental and community involvement, and provide teacher trainings on implementing the following culturally responsive teaching strategies. And here are the strategies. We need to activate students' prior knowledge. make learning contextual, consider our classroom setups, form relationships. A couple of the students talked about that in the videos. Discuss social issues, tap into students' cultural assets, and we also need to incorporate popular culture. Here are our strategies. Utilize culturally diverse and inclusive practices that recognize and validate students' home cultures and language as assets. Uphold the same high expectations and provide instruction so all students can access the same grade level content. We need to make sure we are familiar with linguistic and dialect differences. We need to set and communicate high expectations for developing and using reading skills. We need to strategically select and use culturally responsive text for reading instruction. And we also need to implement explicit instruction for reading comprehension strategies. Now, I did not add everything to my PowerPoint presentation, but of course, teacher evaluation plan timeframes for this diversity plan implementation is going to be very important, where um, we have steps about evaluations, about professional development requirements, um, about pre observation, observation, and about creating and maintaining and sustaining culturally responsive teaching. And we also, in the plan, um, I also wanted to make sure that there was a very extensive professional development plan in order. To promote cultural competence, culturally responsive professional development opportunities for teachers and school administration will begin and will spark the long and difficult journey to making a transformation in this system possible. A facilitator will be meticulously selected after affirmation of culturally responsive instructional practices, expertise, and program participants will be eligible to conduct training within their districts. So the ones that are being trained will then train other teachers in the system, and those administrators or educators will then train the teachers in the schools. And we have also a student self evaluation plan. This self evaluation tool is designed to explore individual cultural competence. An evaluation will be administered in the homeroom classes within the first 2 weeks of school, and another one will be given at least 30 days before the end of the school year. Its purpose is to help students to consider their skills, knowledge, and awareness of themselves in their interactions with others. Its goal is to assist students to recognize what they can do to become more effective citizens who are capable of working in a diverse environment. This is very important. The term culture includes not only cultural related to race, ethnicity, and ancestry, but also the culture shared by people with characteristics in common, such as people with disabilities, people who are deaf, members of faith and spiritual communities, and people of various socioeconomic classes. In this tool, we will focus on race, ethnicities, and ancestry. However, remember that much of the awareness, knowledge, and skills that students they have gained from past relationships with people who are different than they are. And this information is transferable and can help them in their future relationships. So, their evaluation process, it's broken down into sections, and at the end of each section, they add up the number of times that students have checked either never, sometimes, occasionally, fairly often, pretty well, and always and very well. The more points they have, the more culturally competent they are becoming. And so there are questions in awareness, such as I view human difference as positive and a cause for celebration. Um, I am aware that in order to learn more about others, I need to understand and be prepared to share my own culture. There are very good, challenging questions, challenging stereotypes. I am aware of my stereotypes as they arise and have developed personal strategies for reducing the harm they cause. So, students can, this is a very, very personal assessment, and they can reflect on how they see themselves, their own cultures, and how they view others. It's a pretty extensive assessment, so I'm going to scroll on down so we can talk about how we are going to fund this diversity plan. So is this table is showing the distribution of federal, state, and local revenues to support this plan. As you can see, it is divided into the type of cost, and we have everything from um, planning the meetings to the materials needed to facilitator training. We have it, excuse me, broken down into resource units, unit costs, and total costs. And this is the distribution of federal, state, and local revenues continued. So, another very, very important aspect of any plan is parental family engagement and stakeholder support of the plan. So, what we vow to do is make sure that the community is well involved um, in the planning, in the maintaining, the implementing, and the integrating this plan into our system. So, we plan to host, or hold annual meetings of parents, students, and stakeholders. We want to make sure, I'm sorry, trying to do two things at once. We want to involve parents in planning, review, and improvement of the plan. We want to involve parents and community stakeholders in the funding, budgeting aspects of the plan. And we want to make sure that we design ways to involve parents and community members that have limited English proficiency or are disabled and various cross cultural economic levels. We want to make sure we involve them in the planning and implementation of the plan. So, to end my presentation, um, as you know, I have emailed everyone that I wanted to read my plan or view my plan. I have emailed you the entire plan. I have kind of condensed some things in this presentation, but hopefully you get the gist of it. As I said before, diversity matters in education. And we need to make sure there's even a technology plan. I'm sorry, I'm skipping through that uh, because it's very extensive, but it talks about the one-to-one initiative that proves advantageous to us in implementing this plan because we do need to make sure that our students, all of our students, are prepared for this new world order. They are prepared for this very competitive workforce. And so there is an extensive technology plan added to my diversity plan. Um, and of course, I'm going to go on and play this video so that I can get my conclusion ready. But remember that diversity does matter in education. So, um, I just want to emphasize that diversity matters in education. And if you were not able to view the two videos that I embedded into my presentation, I have included my references. And so the titles of those videos, you may even be able to click on the link and it should take you. But if not, the titles of both of those videos are in my references. In conclusion, in our increasingly diverse and multicultural society, it is more important now than ever for teachers to incorporate culturally responsive instruction in the classroom. The evidence of diversity not only helps marginalized students succeed, it also encourages acceptance and helps students to thrive in an exponentially diverse world. School culture and climate significantly impact the outcomes of the school. So, school leaders must create a culture where all students feel valued. Student studies have shown that drawing from students' cultural knowledge and norms contributes favorably to reading comprehension and mathematical thinking. And according to neuroscience research, using text, materials, and examples that draw from students' cultural schemas and background knowledge makes learning easier because it leverages students' neural pathways. We've got to level the playing field. Diversity matters in education. Thank you.